This is my follow-up interview with Lawrence Louis. Lawrence is now the CEO of a longevity design house. Okay, so last time we talked about what happened, what you did, etc., the business model. So going back, how severe was the social problem? Particularly, you are tackling this elderly problem, their homes. How severe was that social problem at the time when you started the longevity? What?
I see.
Was
Because
it
we actually
6 years ago or
3.5.
or 3.5 years ago?
I mean, officially the company established in September 2015, but we kickstart the research of the end of 2014. So we actually run a live-month pilot and research. During that time, the Asian population is around 15%
Of Hong Kong
population. So while on WHO definition is Asian populations, and then the population of those are age over 85 actually raised around 60%. Yeah. Meanwhile,
From when to when? Raise 80% from when to when?
compared to 10 years ago.
10 years ago.
Yeah. Because Hong Kong actually the census department they published the first elderly special topic report on 2016. So while on that research, we track actually the number of those age over 85 actually increased for over 60%, 60 something percent actually.
Did you guys do this research before you start longevity?
When we do the research, those figures actually is not easy to find.
Oh.
I mean, you need me gather the thing myself. But some generic data, perhaps they may revise like 5 years at a time. So we got a data like for like 2011, Hong Kong, they got around 73,000 of beds in those are nursing home, and only 65% are government funded. During that time, the queue is the waiting time is around 2.3 or 2.8 years. I can't
Waiting time to go to elderly homes.
Elderly home, and right now it may go for around like 5 years.
Wow.
And last year, actually, 6,000 elderly died during the wait for the nursing home. So you may foresee that even though we mentioned those like governmentally subsidized nursing home, the condition is not that good. I mean, there are some really high quality one, but it's expensive or it's limited supply, so you need to wait for a long queue. But even though you and those elderly actually, if you we do a research interview around 1,000 elderly in those daily elderly center, of course 100% of them will reply that I want to stay at home unless my physical condition or my kids can't support me due to the limit of resources or time. So we do think there's a big gap. Like government didn't got sufficient land supply to build nursing home, and secondly, the condition is not very good, and those elderly, the preference is to age in place or age at home. So how a company can facilitate for the age at home solution, I think that will be good. Yeah, because those like NGO or non-profit usually they may have some like household services like cleaning or escorting you to the hospital, or they may provide a meal for you every day. But of course, you need to have some kind of financial censorship. Yeah, but if you can fall in that gap, then you may need more service. But hardware, no company actually coordinate like how to fulfill that. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's go to the next question. Your overall marketing strategy. How do you describe your overall marketing strategy?
You want to know in the very beginning or right now? Because we change.
You can tell me what happened at the beginning and what is the new
I see.
approach.
In the very beginning, our first target segment is those we call sandwich population. Sandwich population, just like for those elderly, they may got property, but they got insufficient cash. Particularly those like bought the private housing, because the government actually have a scheme. You may buy your own public housing property, and around 18,000, over 80,000, 18萬, 180,000 households actually bought the private housing.
It's a semi-private, we call it.
Semi-private. But the thing is, once you bought the private housing, they won't support maintenance, and the material is not that good. So after many years, the condition is not that good at all. So in the very beginning, we think that there's a policy gap to serve this segment. So and at the same time, government actually got a 4,000 financial scheme to support such kind of people to modify their home so that it will be safe. So it's I mean that $4,000 actually target for safety issue, but not for elderly family issue. But we can apply the same concept when we do the modification. So at the end, we found there's a big gap. You got financial incentive, and at the same time, there's a lot of people need such kind of services, so we target this segment. But the thing is, and after decide that this segment, we actually invite a lot of district councillor or NGO. We do seminar, or we even put a sales booth in the Link shopping mall. But the thing is, the feedback is too good. The feedback is too good that in the very beginning, 4 founders, all of them are part-time workers, but we need to do like around 30 site check a month. Yeah, 30 site check. Just like check? Because like for the project, you need to go to the client home to do the site measurement, and then you make a proposal, and then you have a quotation for them. After your quotation is being provided, then you send those like documents to the housing society, and then after 2 weeks they may send a manager to do inspection whether your proposal makes sense or is in need. And then they approve that, and then you can go for the construction, and after the construction, they will do the reimbursement. So the thing is, many people actually rely on our services, but at the end they may go for a supplier with lower cost. So they are too price sensitive with low consumer loyalty. And it also incur a cash flow problem, because you need to do a lot of pre-sales work and reimbursement thing. So although we complete a lot of work in first 10 months, but we are cash flow wise, we got a negative cash flow. So we raise funding, or we apply the funding actually after first 10 months. We secure an angel investor, and we start to apply some funding for scale up. So we join the DBS competition, we secure an angel investor, and we build a showroom. So after that, we found that we need to have a hybrid model, like certain percent of the revenue should come from the middle class. They may have more budget, and the margin will be a little bit bigger. And for those like low budget things, we try to use a maintenance scheme. So we actually split two segments. Yeah.
So initially, when it started, only one segment, the sort of the poor elderly segment.
Yeah.
So 2 or 3 years later, you have 2 segments.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because if for underprivileged, unless we didn't have pressure for rental, and then you really need to hire those like workers directly.
Okay.
So our business model actually didn't work. By the way, this story I didn't put it in my PowerPoint
Sure,
slide. If
sure,
you really
sure.
think that is good for
I think
sharing,
it's good for sharing.
I can
To let you know what these are the lessons learned. To make it better.
I can just like forget my slide and
To
I
improve
can
the,
improve
the
that.
business model. Yes.
Yep, so the business model 1.0 actually is not work. So for 2.0, we want to sort of enhancing our capability and build a consumer trust. So we insist that if you hire me for services, you need to pay the design fee first. But the design fee may including the assessment of occupation therapy, and the designer will provide more concrete, precise recommendations. And then after that, we actually become more professional, and then more middle class people use our services. And for those like maintenance project, we train some like youth workers from the vocational training council, and then they support us for some easy work. Yeah. So we speak maintenance and design renovations. Yeah. If your budget is too low, we recommend that perhaps you just visit our showroom, get some idea, but you better find your own seafood will be better.
Can we continue this conversation in your office?
Sure.
Because I think we need to set up the class now. Everyone is leaving. Yeah. I mean, in terms so in terms of like the pricing, I mean, how, I don't know. We can
Pricing.
not much time.
Well, compared to interior design firm, we are market price. But compared to seafood, compared to seafood will be just like it's renovation company, but not interior design company. We may hire like 15 to 20% for pricing. Yeah.
Compared to the normal seafood.
Yeah.
But what about compared to the
interior design that
the professional interior design company?
Yeah.
Your price is almost the same.
Yeah. But I mean, for the price, I mean, in the very beginning, we may even like more expensive for 20%. But you know, because we train our supply chain, we hire our own PM, so that we save more costs in front end, so that our price can be more competitive. And for elderly, you can't charge too high because they are not looking for world class or leading interior designer.
Yes.
They just lead to some like minimal design with functions. Yeah. Yeah.
Shall we continue later?
Sure.
Okay, let me.
I think this is very good question.